All right, what's going on? It's Bobby Skinner talking Giants with the Week 6 offensive line report, and the Giants are 5-1. And I think this is the most fun O-line report we're going to do. We're going to talk about Ben Bredeson. I thought he's played a solid game, bounced back after a rough game versus the Packers. Obviously, we're going to talk about Andrew Thomas, and then Eva Neal. I think he played his best game as a pro by far. They did some different stuff with him, not too different, but I want to get into all of it. So make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We have the O-line reports, the film review podcast. We've got plenty of stuff for different types of people, so make sure you get at it. So I'm going to start with Eva Neal, and so he played well in this game. There's no doubt about that, and that's something I said on the last podcast. Is like I want to see some progress at some point. Now they did change some things up, and I'll illustrate that in this. But it wasn't changed up as much as I thought. And there's still a lot of work to go for Eva Neal. Like, I think the Ravens pass rushers were not very good in OA, and JPP looks kind of washed at this point. But we wanted to see the progress, and we got that out of him. Still got a lot of ways to go, but this was a really fun week to watch Eva Neal. So let's get into it. First play, obviously lined up at right tackle. And this play is those aggressive pass sets that we've talked about, that he's changing and getting used to in the NFL. So watch the steps. 1, 2, 3. See how we're moving at like a 45-degree angle instead of, getting deep? So the reason that Bobby Johnson, the Giants offensive line, like to do this is there's multiple reasons. One, it makes the pocket wider. It stops pass rushers from getting momentum. You're closing the space into them and bringing the fight to them, and instead of being reactive and passive in your pass pro. It's about being aggressive. So it does a lot of things to help with blitz pickup, but it also can get you beat around the corner, and that's what we've seen out of Eva Neal. But we see good on this. I think one thing that is a big difference is we're seeing Eva Neal get out of his stance a lot quicker. He was getting out of his stance slow, so I know I've done like 20 minutes of talking and no breakdowns yet, but still. So 1, 2, 3, quick feet, good. That's what we want. Like, let's watch him and Eva Neal, him and Andrew Thomas's feet. 1, but 1 and 1, 2, 3. I mean, they're mirrored. And I don't ever expect Eva Neal's foot speed to get up to Andrew Thomas's, because Andrew Thomas's foot speed is just an elite level in the NFL. But this is good stuff. Wash him around the corner. Get your hands on him. Hand on the small of the back. Wash him around the corner. Saquon gives you a little help, but you didn't need it. Now here's where they changed some things up from those aggressive 45-degree pass sets. More vertical. And these aren't like true, like, get straight back vertical, but they're a lot different than what they've been doing. So on this rep versus OA, see how that foot is going from here to here instead of from here to like here, instead of moving out towards. So getting vertical. And what does that do? Well, it gives you more time to get to your landmarks. And doesn't allow them to just wash around the corner. So Eva Neal was having trouble with the aggressive passes. He gets to his third step, and he'd be worried about beating the corner. He would lean. His feet would get close together. But in these vertical sets, you see his feet are pretty wide, not as wide as you'd want. The lean isn't really bad. He's not over punching. And then he's just got good feet after this. Like, you're going to work the bull. Now Eva Neal's in control of the rep. Goes to that, he goes to the bull. We watch this hop step. Hop, hop. That's what you want. Hold strong. Good rep. Good rep for Eva Neal. Next play. Again. And again, these aren't like even 100% true vertical set. And again, you see still some of the same mistakes, like feet clicking, a little top heavy on this. But because he's not worrying about getting out here and not getting beat around the corner, there's some patience to his game. And he's able to get his feet reloaded. Still a little lean. Like, it's still not perfect, but you get the hand on the small of the back, other hand on the chest plate. You're washing around the corner. So again, like there's still a lot of work that Evan Neal needs to do. But I think just letting him, run some vertical sets is going to help him. He's washing, JPP around the corner at 11, 12 yards. Next play. Just in control of the rep. We have not seen Evan Neal in control of reps this year. 1, 2, 3. Good hand placement, washing around the corner. Keep your feet moving through the block. Like your feet aren't getting stuck in mud. Like a lot of times at this point, he would lean on this and he'd get around the corner and his feet would be stuck, left behind. Not on this play. Allows Jones to step up and make a throw. Next play. Glowinski gives a little help. Just getting a little deeper in the pass sets. 1, 2. 1, 2. He's in your space. He's coming for the bull. Land your hands. Glowinski gives you a little help. Ball out. Versus JPP. You know me. Getting out of his stance. Again, it's not perfect, but we're getting out of our stance. We're buying ourselves time. Like, look how quick he's getting out of that stance. Bat, bat, bat. We're good. We're getting our feet. And then JPP wants to go inside. Now, I think JPP should have just rode this inside. But he tries to counter back. Actually helps out Evan Neal. So Evan Neal does a good job recovering after this point. Wasn't going to be the worst rep anyways. Jones could have rolled out. I think that might have been what JPP was thinking. So good stuff in pass pro for Evan Neal. Grow on this. And I think them letting him change up his pass sets, not all the time, but here and there, is going to help. I think it's going to help the passing game a lot too, not just Evan Neal and his growth. All right, so let's go through some run stuff. I saw some good improvement in the run game too. Not taking false steps in the run game. This run out. Like first step, pick it up, put it down, don't lose ground. You're getting into him. Land the hands, roll your hips through, keep the feet churning. Good stuff. Again, first step. It's not even the quickest first step, but it's not a false step. You get it? Second step, hands land. Roll your hips, extend, keep the feet churning. And the feet are still a little skinny, but you're resetting the edge. That's really good stuff. Here on this down block, good first step. Good first step. It's half, I'm telling you, the majority of the battle in playing offensive line is your feet. So, and it starts in the beginning of the rep. Like he lands and you see he rises up. The defensive line does a good job. He rises up and his feet get skinny together, but just keeps his feet moving through it. Seals them off, gets some movement on the play. I really want Saquon to score on this. I know he made the right decision, but I wanted 30 points badly. And then here, working this double on a duo run play. Good first step, quick step. If this is your first time watching this, what Neal was doing on a lot of these plays is see how this step, that's small though. It's small, but it's forward and it's into your block. What Evan Neal was doing was stepping back and kind of using it as a push-off step, and that puts you behind the rep. It forces you to lean. And now you're getting movement on a double team. Keep your feet churning. Good block. So really good stuff out of Evan Neal. This was definitely the most fun to watch our 7th overall pick this year, and I'm hoping to see more growth, get better and better. And fun fact, what game did Andrew Thomas start his rookie ascension against? Against Jason Pierre-Paul and the Bucks. All right, next segment. All right, I want to give some love to Ben Bredeson. We'll have 8 plays on his 4 run, 4 pass. He didn't get a ton of true pass sets just one-on-one in this game, But he did a great job IDing stunts, picking up blitzes, helping out other guys when he was uncovered. And then in the run game, like they got him out and pulled him. That's never really been his forte, but he did a good job in it. A big credit to this guy. He was on the third team at the start of training camp. Like we were there. He was behind Jamil Douglas, Josh Azudu, Max Garcia. And now he's been their best interior offensive lineman. Like he's been better than Feliciano and Glowinski, and he's playing himself into a job. Young player, still 24. So we'll break down these 8 plays that we want to do. He hasn't been perfect this year. Had a bad game versus the Titans. Had a bad game last week versus the Packers. But overall, he's been halfway decent. So let's get into it. We're gonna go through the run game. Just 4 pulls that he had. So obviously here at left guard. Bam! Just lays dude out. So pulling. Ideally, you want Bellinger to seal this off, and that allows Bredeson to come up to the safety. But run plays are very rarely ran perfectly. So instead of trying to stop and slow down Saquon and get to this, which isn't going to work well, just run through this dude. Bam! Lay a hit. That's nasty. That's Banff stuff right there. Lined up at left guard again. You're going to put Bellinger in some surge motion. Beautiful. Bellinger kicks out 40. Tight down the line of scrimmage for Bredeson. And then land. I mean, that's perfect hat placement. You put his helmet on the inside of his. Keep your feet moving through it. And I mean, that's really good execution right there. Here at left guard again, they're going to do surge motion like we've been doing, and teams are seeing like, when they run that surge motion, they run this way. We're going to throw a toss off of it. We're going to throw you off your game. Get out here. Pick up 56. Feliciano gives you some help. Keep your feet moving. You're working. Nice chunk play. I mean, I know he's got the help from Feliciano on this one, but we're starting here. We're driving this guy back 9-10 yards. And then here on the game sealing play, again that surge motion. Up through the hole. This time Patrick Queen, the linebacker, plays the inside. So what are we going to do? We're going to go and we're going to flip the hips and seal off. And Barkley bounces it. And that's game. And you get to celebrate with your boy. And then the pass pro, again, there wasn't any true like just one-on-one stuff, or a couple, but nothing special on it. So I just want to show some like good stunt pickup stuff. Now having Thomas helps a lot. But hey, we're setting to the full man on this. That's what you want. You want your head lined up with his head. Wide feet. He goes into it. Has good peripherals. Sees that JPP's coming off on this. Picks it up. Allows Thomas to pick this up. And then get your hands and move your feet. Good play. Lined up here. Set towards the man. You're hip to hip with Thomas. Wide base, good knee bend, good arm extension. And then patience. Pass this off. Help Thomas pass this off. Help Thomas pass this off. Come off at the exact right time. Pick him up. Good stuff. And then they knock your helmet off and fight. Pussy wants to push you from the back. 15 yards. Good stuff, Bredeson. Here. Like, first of all, just look at this as a one-on-one block. Like, he's stepping left with this, obviously, setting towards the man. He shoots into this gap. Immediately, right foot. Bam. Wide base. Hands on him. He sees it. He sees Queen looping around. He sees JPP shooting in this gap. Allows. Now, Feliciano. pick this up instead of chasing Queen. Trust your guys. Picks up JPP, just leaves this guy unblocked on this, but it's a 3rd and long. But like good stuff. And then this last one, like he did this type of stuff all game, which is a lot more valuable than people think. And we really haven't had interior offensive line guys do this since essentially Nick Gates. That when you get left uncovered, like you're setting to this man, good job, hit the hip with Thomas, you pass it off, and then immediately turn your head, find work. Get on him. And he did that stuff all game. So I wanted to give Ben Bredeson some credit. I know we kind of just focus on Thomas and Neal on a lot of these. Specifically, I don't like talking about Feliciano and Glowinski because they're not really long-term future plans and they're not very good. And I don't love talking about this stuff. I'm going to do either Glowinski or Feliciano next week. That's a guarantee. Unless we have like 8-sack game. In that case, I just do all of them. But anyways, gonna do one. But Bredeson's 24. Like he should be, at least depth here for a while. So good stuff from Ben Bredeson. All right, let's finish this up with our guy Andrew Thomas. Good game from him. We saw in the Ben Bredeson segment they stunted a lot, so we didn't see a ton of him tested on the edge. Plus, the Giants don't run a ton of straight drop back, even though they increased it from the last 2 weeks. And the run game, some good stuff. We'll go through that. But just overall, good game for Andrew Thomas, what we've come to expect. So let's get through it. Let's finish off this O-line report. First play, obviously, lined up at left tackle versus Jason Pierre-Paul. Quick to his feet. Bat, ready. Lands those hands. Now they come wide. But you got that outside hand on the shoulder, inside hand on that rib cage. Ball comes out quick. Good play. Next play. Versus Owe. Closing the gap between the pass rusher. And, when we talk about aggressive sets for Eva Neal, it's like, well, why are they doing it? Well, when they're ran really well, like Thomas, like, look, 1, 2, 3. Well, now we've widened the pocket. We've stopped him from getting momentum and getting to his pass rush moves. And you just see how long, like he's trying to long arm him, and look how long Thomas's arms are. And he's just simple, working independent hands. Like puts that right hand on there, and then look at the left hand. The left hand is by his side, ready to go, depending on what Owe ends up doing. Ball comes out quick. But just good working independent hands, which is something that he told us he wanted to work on this offseason. Down here in the red zone, this ends up being a sack. We're not going to do an Azuda segment because he only played 3 snaps, but he did a bad job on this stunt pickup. You gotta peel off. Bredeson's on there. I know it's not perfect, but you got to peel off and get onto this. Ends up being a sack. But with Thomas, 1, 2, 3. Ballinger messes with the rush a bit. So Owe gets hands on him and has a good pull, like pulls Thomas forward, but Thomas does a good job recovering, and that's where the athleticism just shows off. Where it's like, that should be a good rep, but Thomas has just balanced his feet, his quickness. I mean, we're washing the guy around the pocket at 13 yards. I mean, we're going from the 5-yard line. We're washing around the 18. Like, I know it looks like a mess right here, but you wash a guy 13 yards around the pocket, that's pretty damn good. Last pass pro play. Similar. Pass rusher gets hands on him. He tries to pull. Again, gets Thomas to pull a little bit, but just the athleticism and balance to bang and then get aggressive with it, push him back. DJ gets a nice ball out to Marcus Johnson. And in the run game, nothing flashy. Fires out of his stance. Lands the hands right here and then replace that right hand, put it under that arm, and keep that feet moving and wide in the lane. wide in the lane. This ends up, I think this is a bad play to run versus this formation because you essentially have 3 for 4. So 56 shoots it, and there's really nothing any of the offensive linemen could have done. But Thomas does his job on that. He's going to pull on this next play. Bam. I know it's a DB, but it's still cool. Gets out there, move, land, feet stay moving, roll the hips through it, take them off the screen. Always a good job when you're taking somebody off the screen. Here down the red zone, Giants are running this Wildcat. When you have Saquon at quarterback, something got messed up with the count. So you see, like, none of the offensive linemen are essentially out of their stance when the ball is snapped. So when that happens, that is either on the center or Saquon or something. But late off the ball, Bredeson does a good job holding up 96. Give him that help. Bam, power. I mean, just totally gets him off balance. I mean, that's a win right there. And then this all gets washed up. Find somebody, find Queen in the end zone. Now, Feliciano ends up getting worked on this. Myrick gets beat by Campbell because of the snap stuff, but good job by Andrew Thomas on that. And then the go-ahead touchdown. Watch this down block on JPP. I mean, just washing him out of the play. I know he's slanting in for that, but get low, drive your feet, and we're moving him from the middle of the A to the middle of the N. And Saquon's hopping over. And first round pick, Daniel Jones, hands up. Thomas, hands up. Neal, hands up. We're celebrating. And the Giants are 5-1. Feels pretty damn good. Celebrate with the guys, Saquon. So good stuff, from the 3 young guys. Like I said, I'd like to focus on Feliciano and Glowinski in the next couple weeks. But good growth from Eva Neal. Bredeson doing his job, and then Thomas continuing to be Andrew Thomas. So like and subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Have a film review out later and everything else. Let's go Big Blue.